Hi, welcome back. I'm here again. This is mini concert number 80. As you can see, I have a large in-person audience here. 3 bears down in the front here have requested that I do waltzing with bears, but I haven't done that for so long that I'm going to have to do that at a later point, so I'll fit that one in later on. First song tonight is a Jeannie Ritchie song. She's been called the lyric voice of Appalachia. This is similar to a John Prine song by the name of Paradise. I come from the mountains, Kentucky's my home, where the wild deer and the black bear so lately did roam, where the clear rushing waterfalls, wildflowers dream, and through every green valley there runs a clear stream. Sad scenes of destruction on every hand, and only black waters run down through the land. There are scenes of destruction on every hand, black waters running down through the land. Well, the quail is a pretty bird, she sings a sweet song. In the roots of tall timbers, she rests with her young. But then the forest explodes with the dynamite's roar, and the voice of that small bird is heard there no more. Then the mountain comes tumbling, all awesome and grand, and the poisonous waters flood over the land. Sad scenes of destruction on every hand, black waters running down through the land. At the start of the springtime, we planted our corn. At the ending of the springtime, we buried the sun. And the summer came, a nice man saying, everything's fine. My employer just requires a way to his mine. But they blew down the timber and they covered my corn, and the grave on the hillside is a mile further down. And the man stands and talks with his hat in his hand, and the poisonous waters roll over the land. Sad scenes of destruction on every hand, black waters running down through the land. Well, I ain't got no money, not much of a home. I own my own land, but my land's not my own. I have 10 million somewhere thereabout. Well, I'd buy Perry County, drive them all out. And I'd sit by the stream with some bait in a can, and I'd watch the clear waters run over the land. Wouldn't that be like the old promised land? Black waters no more in my land. Wouldn't that be like the old promised land? Black waters no more in my land. So that's Jeannie Ritchie's Black Waters. Next up is a song from the late 1700s. Become something of a classic, written by a seaman by the name of John Newton. He was caught in a serious storm, and he asked for divine intervention, and he survived the storm. So he was converted, and he wrote this song. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Was grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many troubles, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Twas grace that's seen us through thus far, and grace will lead us on. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as a sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. So that's John Newton's Amazing Grace. Also, parenthetically, it's become somewhat of the farewell song for a lot of first responders, in particular NYPD. Usually play it by bagpipe there. I haven't started learning bagpipes yet. Next up is a song that was first suggested by my brother Ron in California. Johnny Cash song. Well, I taught the weeping willow how to cry, showed the clouds how to cover up a clear blue sky. Tears I cried for that old woman, I'm gonna flood you, big river. I'm gonna sit right here until I die. Well, I met her accidentally in St. Paul, Minnesota. Tore me up every time I heard that drawl, southern drawl. I heard my dream went back downstream, from Fort in Davenport. So I followed you, big river, when you go. Well, you took me to St. Louis, later on down the river. Freighter said she's been here, but she's gone, boy, she's gone. Well, I found her trail in Memphis, but she just walked up the bluff. She raised a few eyebrows and then she went on down the bluff. you better down by Baton Rouge, River Queen rolling on. Take that woman on down to New Orleans, New Orleans. Go on, I've had enough, done my blues down in the Gulf. She loves you, Big River, more than me. Well, I taught the weeping willow how to cry, and I showed the clouds how to cover up a clear blue sky. But the tears I cry for that old woman are gonna flood you, Big River. I'm gonna sit right here until I die. So that's Johnny Cash's Big River. Not to go away too far from the roots of when I first started playing guitar in public. Here's a song that you hear in an Irish pub by a fellow by the name of Eric Bogle. He specialized in songs about World War I. This one features the unofficial national anthem of Australia, Waltzing Matilda. When I was a young man, they carried me back, and I lived the free life of a rover. From the Murray's green basin to the dusty outback, I would waltz my Matilda all over. But then in 1915, my country said, son, it's time to stop rambling, there's work to be done. And they gave me a tin hat, and they gave me a gun, and they marched me away to the war. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as the ships pulled away from the quay. And amidst all the tears, flag waving and cheers, we sailed off for Gallipoli. Well, I'll never forget that terrible day when our blood stained the sands and the waters, and how in that hell that they call Suvla Bay, we were butchered like lambs at the slaughter. When Johnny Turkey was ready, he primed himself well, he rained us with bullets and he showered us with shell. And in 5 minutes flat, we were all blown to hell. Nearly blew us back home to Australia. And the band played Waltzing Matilda, and we stopped to bury our slain. We buried ours, then the Turks buried theirs. Then it started all over again. Those who remained tried to survive in this mad world of blood, death, and fire. For 10 weary weeks I kept myself alive, while the corpses around me piled fire. But then a big Turkish shell blew me arse overhead when I awoke in the hospital bed. Seen what it had done, well, I wished I was dead. Never knew there were worse things than dying. So no more I'll go waltzing Matilda all around the green bush park free. To hump tents and pegs, a man needs both legs. No more waltzing Matilda for me. Well, they gathered the injured, the wounded, the maimed, and they took us back home to Australia. thanks Christ, there was no one there waiting for me to mourn and to grieve and to pity. And the band played waltz and Matilda, and they carried us down the gangway. Nobody cheered, they just stood there and stared. And they turned their faces away. Well, now every April they sit on the porch, and I watch the parade pass before me. I see my old comrades, how proudly they march, reliving their days of past glory. While the old men march slowly, all bent, stiff and sore, the forgotten heroes of a forgotten war. And the young people ask, what are they marching for? And I ask myself that same question. And the band plays waltz and Matilda, and the old men still answer the call. Year after year, their numbers get fewer. Soon no one will march here at all. Waltz and Matilda, waltz and Matilda, who'd come a waltzing Matilda with me? And their ghosts can be heard as they march by the Billabong. Who'll come a waltzing Matilda with me? So that's Eric Bogle's The band played Waltzing Matilda. Next up is a little lighter hearted song, hopefully. First heard this one done by Peter, Paul, and Mary back in the 60s when I was at Duke University. I thought they'd picked up an old Appalachian folk song and popularized it. Come to find out, this song is actually sung on both sides of the Atlantic. On the British Isles, it's called Skewball, and it's a completely different song. But here in North America, it's called Skewball. Skewball was a racehorse, and I wish he were mine. He never drank water, he always drank wine. His bridle was silver, and his mane it was gold. Worth of his saddle has never been told. Well, the fairgrounds were crowded, and Skewball was there. The betting was heavy on the day I'm there. I bet on the gray mare, and I bet on the bay. I'd bet on old Skewball, I'd be a free man today. 'Cause way up yonder, ahead of them all, came a dancing and a prancing, my noble Skewball. Well, the hoot owl she hollered, and the turtle dove moaned, for a poor boy in trouble on a long way from home. she were mine. He never drank water, he always drank wine. So that's the North American version. It's Duval, patterned after the Peter, Paul, and Mary song. Okay, next up is I just recently, in the last couple of months, added this song, popping up for one reason or another. Tonight it pops up because it's not in the rotation, but it's a thank you song to the first responders, an old Randy Travis song. There is a point when you cannot walk away, when you have to stand up straight and tall and mean the words you say. There is a point you must decide just to do it cause it's right, and that's when you become a point of light. There is a darkness that everyone must face, and wants to take what's good and fair and lay it all to waste. And that darkness covers everything inside until it needs a single point of light. All it takes is a point of light, a ray of hope in the darkest night. When you see what's wrong and you try to make it right, you will be a point of light. There are heroes whose names we never hear, a dedicated army of quiet volunteers, reaching out to feed the hungry, reaching out to save the land, reaching out to help their fellow man. And there are dreamers who are helping dreams come true, reaching out to teach the children there's nothing they can't do, giving shelter to the homeless, giving hope to those without. Isn't that what this land's all about? One by one, from the mountains to the sea, points of light are calling out to you and me. All it takes is a point of light, a ray of hope in the darkest night. If you see what's wrong and you try to make it right, you will be a point of light. If you see what's wrong and you try to make it right, you will be a single point of light. So thanks to all the first responders. That's mini concert number 80. Hopefully I'll see you next week for mini concert number 81, Wednesday night, 7:30.